Hey, ladies. Welcome to Black Women Making Money. We are the home of the upwardly mobile Black woman. We're going to get started in a second. I apologize for being late. We're going to put on our little live stream music here, give people a chance to pop in. Everybody, please like the video. We're going to get started in 90 seconds. Welcome to Black Women Making Money. We are the home of the upwardly mobile Black woman. For exclusive content and invitations to our Inner Circle Zoom meetings, which happen on a monthly basis, you can sign up for free for our email newsletter at bwmakingmoney.com. That's bwmakingmoney.com. Hey, ladies. Welcome to Black Women Making Money. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah to all of my ladies that are out there. As you're coming in, please give us a thumbs up. Please thumbs up the video and tell me if you are an introvert. Are you an introvert? I don't know how this came up on my feed, but all of a sudden I saw a couple of different videos with regard to women being introverts. And there was a video that I ended up watching called Black Women Aren't Allowed to Be Introverted. And I was looking around for another video that I watched. I could have sworn it was by the conservative biracial woman, Amala Ekpanobi. And she had some pretty harsh things to say with regard to this topic, but I couldn't find the video again. So, but that's okay. We're going to talk with regards to if you're an introvert as a Black woman in corporate America, does that prohibit you from climbing the corporate ladder? Does that stop you from getting opportunities? I know a lot of people talk about it with regards to opportunities for friendship or opportunities for romantic partners. I'm going to talk about this with regards to your level up financially, your level up in the corporate environment, your ability to get jobs, your ability to get raises, things like that. And I really wish I could, I don't know, I thought I saved the video that I was looking for. It was a really good video, TikTok compilations of people, Black women complaining about the fact that they are introverts. And yet, when it comes time for them to ask for a raise, they are passed over for a raise. And that's really what I wanted to talk about today. Okay, I'm sitting here. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at Tara Destroyer. Okay, doesn't look like you're saying anything crazy. Thank you so much, Tara Destroyer. Um, okay, so uh, yeah, so I wanted to have this conversation from that point of view. I wanted to talk with regards to being an introvert. Let me know if you are an introvert. Don't forget to thumbs up the video as well as you're coming in. And let's just have this conversation. Let's have this conversation, definitely. So, the first thing that I wanted to do was, and Beulah saying, "Woo, child, let's talk." Yes, Miss Beulah, let us talk, definitely. You know what? And I'm actually going to get rid of this because, yeah, oh, thank you, Dawn to Earth. Thank you. And I'm going to actually time out or hide the user on channel. Yeah, so that way that person doesn't come in again. That's kind of weird. Um, Thank you, Dawn to Earth. Okay, so first question is, what is an introvert? And I actually, when I was younger in the 80s, an introvert, I was always taught, was somebody who got their energy from being alone. They didn't like to be around a lot of people. And being an introvert is different from being shy. There are some people who are very shy, very afraid of people, or they don't like to be around a lot of crowds. And I always learned that introvert was something separate. However, when I looked in the Merriam Webster dictionary, it says that an introvert, and I'm actually going to share my screen here so we can look at the definition all together. We can look at the definition of an introvert is a person whose personality is characterized by introversion. First of all, I hate it when people define a term with the term, but okay. Um, it's saying here, typically reserved or quiet person who tends to be introspective and enjoys spending time alone. All right. So this is very much what I was raised on with regards to being an introvert. First thing that I want to say is that being an introvert is different, in my opinion, than being shy. Being an introvert is different from being shy. So, if someone is very shy, there are shy people who are introverts, but there are introverts who are not necessarily shy. I'm one of those people. I'm not a shy person, but I refuel my tank by being alone. There are times during the day, times during the week, times during the month and year when I like to be alone. So, an introvert turns inward or in upon herself to concentrate or direct upon oneself to produce psychological introversion. So, I really wanted to kind of have us go through what the definition of an introvert is. We're going to throw on some of these TikToks, and I'm going to, I really wanted to find the professional ones, but these are some personal ones. I'm going to layer in some comments, and we're going to talk professionally about, if you're an introvert, is that hurting you with regards to your financial opportunities, with regards to your level up? And if that's the case, what are some of the things that you can do as an introvert? So, my skin is my logo is here. Good evening. In is in the building saying, I'm an introvert, but I am not shy. Dawn to Earth, thank you so much again, Dawn to Earth, for handling that troll. There's an older book that I need to read called Quiet by Susan Cain. She did a good TED talk on being an introvert, especially in the workplace. So we may have to look at that. QB is here saying, I think being an introvert is not about being shy. If you have the deeper friendship with the right people instead of a bunch of superficial ones with low level coworkers. Hold on a second. Oh, I'm sorry. QB, that's a very good point. It's not about being shy. Um, it is about having deeper friendships. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. In a professional environment, especially if you work for a mid-sized company or a larger company, Does having fewer, deeper relationships and not having broad, I'm going to use relationships as an overall term. Um, does that hurt you? I think that it does, especially, so I'll tell you a little bit about my thoughts now, especially as we're talking about climbing the corporate ladder. One of the things I heard that one of the Black woman introverts say in her TikTok was that she is an introvert. She's shy. She doesn't want to talk to a lot of them, of her fellow coworkers. They come around, they bother her when she's working, things like that. But when she goes in, she just wants to sit and do her job. I just want to sit. I just want to do my job. And then she said, but then I go in to get my annual review, and the boss thinks I don't like anybody, and I don't get as much of a raise as everybody else. There's a way to be friendly without being friends. There's a way to be friendly without being friends, even if you are an introvert. And we're going to read an article that's in Forbes, actually, about this person who moved up to management while being an introvert. And one of the things they say is you need to have certain parts of your workday in your calendar where it's sectioned off, where nobody can get to you. Even if you work in a cubicle, there's ways to train people to say, hey, for these next 2 hours, I am super focused on whatever this task is. We talked about this during our sessions with regards to being indistractable. There's certain times of the day where you want to say, hey, you know what? I need quiet time right now. I need to think. I need to do this project. I just need time to, you don't have to tell people this, just you say it internally. I need time to fill up my own tank, even during the workday. And then there are other times when being an introvert where pushing people away can hurt you. So, the best people, if you're working 40 hours a week, maybe there's 20 hours a week where you are deep in thought and let people know, you train your coworkers, you train your boss, you train if you work from home, your kids, like, hey, now is the time that I need to um, separate from everybody, get this project done. I don't want to talk to anybody, right? But then there are other times that you do need to um, build those relationships, not necessarily deep friendships, but just overall relationships. Because if you don't, we're always talking on this channel about the 4 things that you need to have, but 2 of them is multicultural networks. We talk about that all the time, right? And another thing is soft skills. Soft skills. And what I wanted to really impress upon everybody tonight is that if you want to move into any kind of management or any kind of project lead, and if you are an introvert, or you are extremely shy to the point where people don't like you, or they don't feel that you are approachable, or they don't feel like you are somebody that can lead them, that is going to affect your ability to move up the corporate ladder. So it's not that Black women aren't allowed to be introverted. It is in corporate that it is difficult, extremely, extremely difficult for you to be introverted and move up the corporate ladder. You most likely are not going to be invited to uh, join any of the teams that are doing those projects that get you promotable. We talk about promotable tasks all the time, right? Are you going to be invited to join the teams that are doing promotable tasks? Most likely not. Are you going to be invited to get a management position? Most likely not. There are ways to handle being introverted, but there's a difference between being introverted and separating yourself so much that people think that you cannot lead a team. So the soft skill, I was coming back to that, sorry. I'm always telling you ladies to have four things. Have your technical skills, your soft skills, your multicultural networks, and your resources. The soft skills you need to have if you are an introvert is the ability to manage your time in such a way that you are still able to build relationships at work, and knowing when to do that and when, you should shut off and say, hey, I'm doing this project right now, or I just need a few minutes. I need an hour break, right? We need both. So, it's Nafisa. You changed your handle. Okay, Nafisa. Um, Down to Earth is saying, I also think introverts process and relate information differently. That's true. I would believe that. Absolutely. Um, QB is saying, I'm an introvert and always get the offers that take more maturity. That's very interesting. So you did say that you were an introvert, but you are not shy. So there's something about you where you probably know how to walk that tightrope. I'm an introvert as well. I'm not shy. I'm very personable. But then there are other times when I'm like, I need to shut the door to my office. I turn off my phone. I put the do not disturb on my email. And I'm like, I got to get this specific thing done. And there's a way to walk that tightrope. So you're probably the same like me, QB. Donna Earth is saying, I work for a small company and it was difficult. The family environment at work does not work for me. I'll always be polite, ask about weekends, but they always wanted more. So this is interesting. This is where you can be friendly without being friends. So, and I work in a small environment as well, small company environment. Now, fortunately for me, um, people don't ask way too much, but there are topics that you could potentially go into with regards to your personal life, and then other topics that are off, that you cannot go through with me. But one thing to maybe think about is to practice turning it around and asking them more questions so that they talk about themselves a lot more. Because I definitely understand the family environment, or being able to say, you know, right now, the boss gave me this super huge project. I really am trying to work on this. I really need to focus on this for the next few hours. But perhaps we can chat later or something like that. But yeah, I definitely understand that, and I think there are ways to navigate that, Dawn to Earth. QB is saying, I agree with that. You can be civil. Small talk takes a lot of practice. It does. It does. But that's what prepares you to move up, up the corporate ladder. Beulah saying, ain't no room for Black female introverts in the construction industry. You wouldn't be there on the job sites, girl. Beulah, there aren't a lot of Black women, period, in construction. The part that gets me is if they plan an outing as a group outside of work hours. Oh, we've had this discussion before. We have had this discussion before, and it's important to go to those outings. Depending on how many they have, you may not be able to go to all of them, but it is important to be social, especially if you are looking to move up the corporate ladder. It's important to be social outside of work hours. Absolutely. Absolutely. Dawn Earth is saying, I think I find as a Black woman that introversion is merged with being an ABW and all that comes with that. And don't be a BW with RBF. I don't know what RBF means, but ABW, definitely. So people think that either you are angry or you're upset or you don't like them, which, okay, so let's talk about this. If somebody perceives that your introversion means that you don't like them, then how would you get invited to participate in the best promotable projects that are happening? How would you then be able to move up the corporate ladder? Perception means a lot. Just like the clothes that we wear, the way our hair looks, if you have a silk press versus if you have locks, people perceive it differently. And I'm not saying either is bad. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying if we're looking at perception, people perceive things differently. And I'm not even telling you not to be yourself. I'm saying that you need to navigate the waters a little bit differently. There's a way to train people, and I'm putting train in quotes. There's a way to train people to know how to connect with you, and you do a better job of connecting with them. But yeah, you could be considered ABW. One of the things I really believe it was this Amala Ekpanobi woman on YouTube. I wanted to find that video and I just couldn't find it. That's why I was late. One of the young ladies that talked about being a Black woman introvert at the office, Amala, her response was, well, if you didn't give such bad customer service, nobody wants to come into your establishment and you have bad customer service. And the interesting thing, and now I know some of these YouTubers, especially full-time YouTubers, they just do stuff for content and for shock value, right? But the interesting thing was the woman who was talking in that initial TikTok video, I didn't get the feeling she was in any kind of customer service position. I got the feeling she worked in a professional environment, white collar, sit behind the desk, professional environment, and yet she was judged as an ABW who was going to give bad customer service. And it's unfair. It is unfair, absolutely. But this is where we play chess, not checkers. This is where we have to think 5 steps ahead as well. And part of what we do here, you all know this, is we have the tough conversations. I am not the person to soft shoe around these issues. I'm the person who's going to say, hey, look, these are things we can do better. These are things other people can do better. And let's figure out how we can win in the marketplace, win at work. Because here's the thing, artificial intelligence is coming, ladies. It's actually here. Artificial intelligence is here. Quantum computing is coming. And I mention that because it's estimated that 10 million plus Black people are going to lose their jobs due to AI, and a lot of those individuals will be Black women. And who's going to go first? The first people who are going to go are introverts and shy people and people who have bad attitudes or perceived bad attitudes, unless you have a super skill, technical skill that people absolutely need. I'm trying to warn you. So what I encourage you to do is think about ways that you're able to quote unquote train people, because I just don't have a better job, what do you call it? I don't have a better term for it right now. You need to train people with regards to how to work with you, how to read you, as well as you work with them and read them as well. When I say read, I don't mean Nene Leaks read. I mean, you know, you just being able to work with people, period. Beulah's saying you can't lead a construction crew with your mouth closed. Foremen give directions all day. That's the truth. That is the truth. And I would wonder if the construction crew doesn't like the foreman, doesn't respect the foreman, does that show up in the work? And I'm not saying that somebody should like you so much that they take advantage of you, but I do think that there is something with regards to people liking and respecting a healthy bit of I like this person and I respect this person that brings out the best in people. Everybody like the video as well. Don't forget to like the video. You're saying here, right? The mask has been my friend. I put on the cap that hides my furrowed brows when I concentrate. Good for you. Good for you. Everybody has to have the thing that they do, right? But you can't be in that so long that people think that you're just standoffish unless you are like doing it for a whole day or 2 days because people know you have a big presentation or something like that. Like really communicating with people, hey, I'm working on this big project or I'm working on this thing right now and I just need to concentrate, that goes a long way. QB is saying I have everyone's cell number at work for sure. I use the do. Oh, do you have a pen approach? Okay, good for you. It can be a very delicate balance, and a change in management can make a huge difference. I just left a position I was at for 2 years because I didn't fit the culture. It's really what they told me. Yeah, sometimes that happens. The company had a virtual happy hour, which was mandatory, all personal conversations, and the CEO would ask people pointed questions about plans, family, dating, etc. I didn't last there long. Well, that's a shame. That's a shame. Oh, okay. Resting bee face. All right. I didn't know what that meant. Okay. Look, and we have to be honest, especially if we're working in environments where the other individuals are not used to being around Black women. It's unfair for us to feel like, hey, we are the ambassador to Black women, but it's the truth that we are if you're working in those kinds of environments. So being aware of resting bee face, being aware of ABW-ness, um, unfortunately is a part of you know, us leveling up as well financially. Unless you want to work at a large company for a long time. So if you're working in any kind of a small company, then it's harder. It's harder to navigate being perceived as an ABW in a smaller company than a larger company. But the reason I like smaller companies is because you get to do more promotable tasks and you get to do more substantive things within your career. So, but I want to come back up to this. So you're saying that that your CEO asked about plans, family, dating, etc. So let's say, for example, you didn't want to talk about your dating life, then you might have to do more things, top heavy with regards to your family or with regards to the book club that you're a part of or something like that as well, right? Um, let's see here. Good evening from Florida. Good evening. That's a real skill. I'm the queen of enough about me. How about you? Yeah, it is. You got to know how to flip it and how to turn it around. For the first year and a half, I fit the culture just fine. Then we got a Zionist manager in May, and all of a sudden, the Muslim woman no longer fits the culture. Oh, yeah. Look, I get it, 1,000%. You ended up with a real cultural and religious issue. I totally get it. Absolutely. The look I just made when saying, yeah, you should uh, go to one every once in a while. Like, you should. Yes, it's important. Oh, this is one of the other things. I had so many notes that I wanted to write, and I just didn't have time today, and I forgot. I want to talk a little bit about office politics because this is really office politics. And this morning, when I was thinking about this topic, I really thought about politics and what makes a successful politician. A successful politician to me is somebody who can continuously get elected and continuously push their agenda through. Continuously get elected, continuously push their agenda through. So one person I thought about was Nancy Pelosi, right? She was the Speaker of the House for many, many years. Dear old Nancy Pelosi from California. And when I think about politicians and office politics and what makes people successful in the office, it is their ability to get projects done and to work with people. It's the two P's: projects and people, projects and people, projects and people. So, the issue with you being an introverted person is, especially if you want to have bigger leaps in your job prospects, in your management prospects, in your ability to level up your career, is how well you do office politics. Do you have the skill set? Because we're always talking about skills. Do you have the skill set to connect with the people and get the projects to move you to the next level? And I was talking about AI before. Um, I'm sorry I'm all over the place. I don't have notes written tonight. But with AI, that's coming. It's not just that 10 million Black people are expected to lose their jobs. It is also that I've been listening to a lot of AI content creators. What's going to be happening in the future is there going to be multi-million dollar companies that used to have 300 to 400 employees start being run on 20 to 30 employees. 20 to 30 employees could get you $100 million company, whereas, now, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, you would need 3, 4, 500 people, 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 5,000 people in order to run those organizations. I'm mentioning this because we have been talking about the end of DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. We are talking about AI coming and taking a lot of opportunities. You don't need as many people in order to get the job done and build these businesses. And if people don't know you, most jobs these days are not put on LinkedIn, they're not put on Indeed, etc. I think Diamond Dave was the one that said 70% of jobs are not posted anywhere. That means 30%. That means if you don't know people in your industry, if they don't like you, if you can't do office politics, being an introvert as a Black woman can hurt you financially. It can hurt you because now instead of these companies needing 5,000 people, they only need 30 to 50 people in order to run, and you won't be one of those individuals. Within the next 10 years, this AI is getting to a point where it is going to replace a lot of people. A lot of people. You're saying here, Instagram, I think that's IG means, grossed 11 million year in 2016 with 3 employees. Yeah, there are going to be a lot of multi-million dollar companies with 3 people, 5 people, 15 people. You got to be able to do office politics. And I'm not telling you to let people abuse you. I am saying that compartmentalizing your introversion is a skill. And I know some people are saying, well, I'm just going to be my own boss. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to be my own boss. Let me tell you, somebody who has been full-time entrepreneur since 2009, you think it's tough being an introvert as an employee. Roll in these streets and be an introvert as a full-time entrepreneur. Go into your local chamber of commerce or any other business networking event as an introvert and see how far you get, see how many contracts you get. It's going to be even harder. It's going to be even harder. So I'm going to, yeah, some people are saying no more small companies for me. Like, I like small companies, but they're like, I know people who only work at big companies. They only like big companies because they like the infrastructure and they like, to be left alone, right? I happen to like small companies because I don't like a lot of people. Yeah, being an entrepreneur is very peoply. It is. It is very people focused. You aren't going to make it without being people focused. You aren't. So I'm going to share my screen here. We're going to watch a few of these TikToks with regards to being introverted, shy, Black women. Um, I kind of gave you a lot of what I was initially thinking with this as I had listened to some of the professional Black women talk about some of the issues they were having with being an introvert in the corporate setting. I couldn't find the initial videos that I was looking at, but we're going to look at some of these as well, just kind of talk a little bit more about the topic. And, I got a Forbes article to share with you as well. So let's listen to this here.
I don't know if it's just me, but is anyone else like extremely shy to the point where people think you may be mean, but you're just like shy and you get nervous talking to people? Like I feel like that's me, and I'm not a mean person at all, but I have been praying to God that He helps me with just becoming more confident when speaking with people because I don't know, like I don't want to say I'm ever rude, but like sometimes if I feel very like uncomfortable or it almost feels like anxiety just comes over me and I just don't know what to say, so I just kind of like stay out the way. But I feel like some people take that as like you being mean, and I'm not. I'm sorry. So if you ever see me and I'm just like not speaking, like I'm probably a little nervous.
Okay, I didn't realize she had music playing behind her, so I don't want the YouTube copy strike. She is shy. Now she's on the other side of introverted. She is shy, not mean. So there are going to be certain opportunities until people get to know her. Unfortunately, there are going to be certain opportunities that she doesn't get access to because of her shyness. And Beyonce, most of you know, is very shy. She's talked about that countless times. She is very shy. Beyonce, in my opinion, she is not a good speaker. The, Matthew knows and Tina knows they spent a lot of time helping her with her singing and her dancing and her dressing, but I don't know why they didn't put her, in Toastmasters or some sort of interview speaking kind of classes and lessons. If anybody's part of the Beehive, I don't care. Y'all can throw your bees in here if you want to. But Beyonce, even had to learn how to compartmentalize her shyness and come out with Sasha Fierce in order to be able to make it in the workplace, in her workplace. Her workplace is, of course, the stage. So, this young lady here, beautiful Black woman, in order for her to be able to level up in the professional setting, this is a skill that she would need to work on. You're saying you're a great speaker in your head. You have to practice it. It really does take practice. But doors open up for people who have great written and verbal communication skills. Written and verbal communication skills are soft skills. A lot of Gen X, Gen Z, and millennials have awful soft skills. This is why when employers find one of us and one of you who has really great soft skills, you have better opportunities of moving up the corporate ladder. It's because of the soft skills, but those things have to be nurtured and um, worked on. It's as much of a skill as your technical skills. Hey, Alonzo, good to see you. Good to see you. All right, I'm going to move on to the next one here, 903. And we're going to watch another young lady here talk.
3 things that introverts do that may seem weird to others based on personal experience, because I've done all of these and I still do all of these. Number 1, if I'm ever getting a phone call, and this applies to anyone whose number that I have, someone who I know, and they decide to give me a phone call knowing that I don't like making phone calls, I will literally sit there, stare at my phone, and wait until the call ends. And then once the phone stops ringing, I will send them a text saying, "Hey, why'd you call me?" 2,
Imagine if she did that with a boss, with a future employer. And I know she didn't say that. She said that it's for people who know her, but that type of rule can negatively impact your ability to move up. Even with your friends, let's say that you have a church friend or you have a friend in your local community and they know that there's a job opening. They know that there is something you would be perfect for, but you are the type of friend who would not pick up the phone. And once I have called and left you a message, you text me asking me, what do I want? I would never be able to, thank you, Tam, you said it. I would never be able to refer you to any kind of job. I might be your personal friend. I might be your personal friend, and yet I could never refer you to a job because I know how you treat me as your friend. I don't know how you would treat somebody else in the workplace. This is why I'm always telling you, ladies, that you got to play chess, not checkers. I'm not telling you to have people walk all over you. I'm not telling you to have people mistreat you. I am saying that there is a way to be an introvert and to have the skills developed so that you can still attract the people and the projects you need to succeed in the workplace. Beulah is saying, wait on construction supplies delivery. She would gone today. She would have been gone, right? That's how you're alone forever. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Tam. Let's keep listening. These are her 3 things introverts do. This is number 2.
if I'm home by myself and my mom told me that my mom didn't tell me that we were expecting anybody, yet somebody comes to knock at my door, I will pretend that I'm not there. I won't answer the door, any of that. I will literally pretend that I'm not there. And I will try to peek out the window and wait until they leave. 3, if I'm in public or if I'm in line waiting for something or if I'm on the bus or anything, I will pretend to be busy on my phone so nobody tries to engage in small talk with me.
I've done that myself. I don't blame her for that one. I have done that myself. Sometimes you do need to, like, you don't want to have people talk to you at certain periods of time. So I'm perfectly fine with that. But look, she let everybody know. If number two, if you are coming to her house unannounced, she will not be answering the door. She will not answer the door. Hey, Denise, good to see you. Um, you're saying here, I think there's some people who are not introverts, but some people deal with anxiety. Yeah, okay. So, and that's true. Does an anxious person have the ability to climb the corporate ladder? Would an anxious person outside of moving from one job to the next, would an anxious person be able to get a 30, 40, $50,000 bump in salary in a year? Outside of, again, them getting some sort of certification and moving jobs, etc. So, um, you're saying I'll play on my phone depending on where I am. Absolutely. I don't blame her for that. Indy is saying I'm fairly shy in the workplace too, but mainly struggle in groups. I communicate well one-on-one or with two people, but I have to work on my group skills. Yeah, you do, because it is what is honestly going to hurt you. Um, depending on how much of a leadership position you want to have. The more leadership position you want to have, if you ever have to be a team leader, that's going to be more than two people. You may have to manage and coordinate with 5, 6, 10 people, but that could mean huge bumps in your not only in your salary and in your promotable tasks that you're doing at work, but just in your ability to be able to go to different conferences, meet higher levels of people, etc. So that is a skill. And that's the whole point of what I wanted to let you ladies know today, is that these things are skills that we need to work on. These are the soft skills. I know I spend a lot of time talking about our technical skills and our networks, but this skill, if you are an introvert, this skill is super important as well. The soft skills are important as well. The soft skills are as important as that certification that TAM is going to help you get so that you can make $300,000 a year. Can you make $300,000 a year without the soft skills? Yes. Depending on the type of skills technical skills you get, yes. But it's far easier to get 300,000 if you have the soft skills as well. And part of the soft skills is being able to know how to navigate your introversion and be able to actually excel at work in spite of it. Tam is saying she's not answering the phone. She's not doing small talk. She's not making human contact. Sounds awful. Yeah, look. And look, she seems very shy. I'm just making the point that she is going to be hindered in the professional environment. And I'm not saying she's trying to be in a professional environment. This is just our conversation we're having here at Black Women Making Money. So, all right, we're going to look at one more person here and their story of being an introvert.
So reasons why introverts need to recharge is basically because like we just need a break from the real world. It's a lot going on out here, especially in today's society. Like it's always something going on social media, something going on in the news, and it could be very overstimulating. You start feeling anxious and you just want to run away. Like you just like, oh my gosh, I'm done. I'm mentally done. I don't feel like you know doing this anymore. I just feel like being in my own little space. to do my own thing, not mentally think about anything, just peace and quiet all around. Okay. And we need that, especially like for mental health reasons and things like that. Just to
I don't know if I agree with her. I absolutely agree with her that we do need that. Guess what? Cherie needs that too. Cherie needs that too. But there is a time and place for that. There's a time and place for that. So when I come home, there are certain times, and my mother knows this because she and I live together, when I close the door and I'm like, I need to disconnect from the world. I'm going to watch some movie that I've seen 18 times. It probably ends up watching me within 30 to 40 minutes. But there are other times when, if you're feeling drained, if you're feeling socially drained, it is best for you to remove yourself physically from that environment, if possible, than to sit in the middle of people and they're trying to engage you and you are not being responsive to them. Those things ultimately can hurt your chances of leveling up within your career. And that's the big thing that I wanted to say this evening. That's the big thing that I want to say this evening. So I'm going to read the rest of your comments and we shall be out of here. Dawn Earth is saying, and everybody, please like the video as well. Please like the video. There are 30 of you in here. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, Mocha Mommy's coming on Friday for our end of year discussion. So I hope everybody will roll through. We got some juicy topics, some good topics to talk about on Friday with Mocha Mommy. So want us to give everybody that notice as well. Okay, so Dawn Earth is saying headphones are an introvert's superpower. When I worked in the office, I kept the non-essential conversations away. Dawn Earth is saying, I will say for me as an introvert, I never had issues with having daily conversations with people when I was in the office. My issue came when people wanted to talk about deeply personal issues. And I can definitely understand that. That's where it's about navigating those conversations away from the deeply personal, because I do not discuss deeply personal issues either. I am friendly without being friends. I am friendly without being friends. So I would say if people are asking you deeply personal questions, it could be because they want to develop more of a friendship with you. And of course, there are also people out there who want to take your information and turn it against you at some point in the future. So you have to know who you're dealing with and you have to be very, very careful in the workplace with regards to telling people your personal business. India is saying, I read a story about a mom with social anxiety who struggled connecting with her kids' teachers, friends, and even other moms, which made it hard for her to put them in sports clubs, etc. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Flo Jersey is saying, whoever mentioned Toastmasters, thank you. I think this could help a friend of mine, and there is an office close to me. So glad I caught this live. Well, I'm glad you're here as well. Texas Rose is in the building. I'm an onboarding specialist. People are shocked to find out how shy I am. After calls, I literally have to utilize tools to refresh. So this is a great thing that you're mentioning, because you have learned, even though you're a shy person, you have learned how to work with people. And again, that office politics thing, your people and your projects, fusing those together. And then it's okay to say, you know what? I've had this 2 hour, 3 hour onboarding time with this person. Now I need to go and recharge. Perfectly fine. It's important for us to know how to develop those skills and compartmentalize appropriately so it doesn't shoot us in the foot. But thanks, Texas Rose, for sharing that. Alonzo saying my wife is hella introvert and she has to people every day. Look, she better people. She better people. She's an accountant, right, Alonzo? I think you said she's an accountant. So you're saying here, however, she has the soft skills to rise as evidenced by her leveling up in her career over the last 15 years. It's tough because she's drained at the end of the day and I'm an extrovert. Oh my goodness. And she comes home and you want to talk to her with your extrovert self and she's like, leave me alone. Leave me alone. I don't know if that's what's happening in your house. I'm just making some presumptions, but yeah, so, again, I'm an introvert. I am somebody who gets my energy replenished by being alone. But I also know how to, say, okay, there are certain hours of the day where I have to, be out and about and things like that. And then there are other times of the day when I'm like, okay, I need to recharge. I need my batteries recharged. I need to be quiet. I need to, not think about anything too serious, things like that. So, um, Texas Rose is saying you have to learn to turn it on and off. Helped me to 2x my income moving into tech, but normally I hate talking so much. Great combo tonight. Well, thank you so much and good for you. You do have to learn to turn it on and off. So, um, and Beulah saying compartmentalize Black women and please, please, please stop telling co-workers you are an introvert. It is not a flex. I am so glad you said this. Stop telling your coworkers you are an introvert. Stop it. I agree with this. Instead, because some people may think that there's something wrong with that, or then they don't know how to work with you or to navigate you or anything like that. Just basically saying, hey, I'm a fan of, hey, there's this project that I'm working on. The boss's boss really needs it. I want to make sure I do a good job. I need a couple of hours just to kind of focus on this. Most people, if you are in a corporate environment, most people will understand that, right? Having some of these tools where if you are an introvert, being able to basically say, okay, in certain um, uh, periods of time within my company, what are some of the things I'm going to do in order to navigate this while still being able to get those really good promotable projects that are available in the corporate environment. So, but yeah, you're right, Beulah. It is not a flex to run around telling everybody you're an introvert and, why do Black women have to sing and dance all the time for people? Like, and I saw TikToks like that as well. I didn't play them tonight, but, ladies, come on. Come on. We're not expected to entertain people all the time. I'm not saying that there is a Black woman out there who is being asked to entertain, but the majority of us, the super majority of us, are not. Are not. People do want us to come out of our shells. A lot of our counterparts are either touchy-feely or they want to know more about us or they don't want us to feel excluded because there were Black people and Black women in the 80s and 90s going into corporate offices saying we were being excluded. So now they're like, hey, we don't want to exclude you. Come and have lunch with us, have happy hour with us, things like that. And I'm always encouraging you to go to those things. Build your multicultural networks, right? But it's not a flex. Thank you, Beulah, for saying this. It's not a flex. Telling people you're an introvert. Dawn Earth is saying they will use that against you. Tell me how I know. Lesson learned. Exactly. Exactly. You got to think 5 steps ahead. So if you have somebody who does not want to give you, or If you are in a position to get um, a promotion, let's say, and it's going to be to team leader or it's going to be to manager, and a person can say, yeah, but she's an introvert. She's shy. She's an introvert. Is this going to be a good person for this position? Yeah. Khaleesi's in the building. I'm a Black woman introvert and it has been a problem for others. Now I'm an entrepreneur and doing just fine. Good. It depends on what kind of entrepreneur you are, what you're selling, etc. But here's the thing. For the supermajority of my entrepreneurs, being an entrepreneur does not help when you are an introvert. In fact, it can hurt you more because being an entrepreneur means that you know how to market and you know how to sell yourself. And if you are such an introvert that you cannot and don't like to go to, some of us need to go to conferences, need to go to Chamber of Commerce events and talk to a lot of people, need to give presentations, things like that. What I'm trying to say is for the supermajority of entrepreneurs, being an introvert is actually worse for you. Or if you are an introvert, you think, I'm just going to become an entrepreneur and that's going to solve my problems. I'm here to tell you for the supermajority, I'm not saying for Khaleesi specifically, because I don't know her, what she's doing with regards to her entrepreneurial journey. But for the supermajority of you, being an entrepreneur will be harder for you if you are an introvert and not easier, because of the marketing and sales that's involved with being an entrepreneur. And so many people will tell you, well, just be an entrepreneur, do your own thing, get your own hustle. And you all know I'm very honest with you. That is not the end all be all. Most people do better in a W-2 than on the entrepreneur side. And if you're an entrepreneur, part of it is people liking you. And if you are such an introvert that you're pushing people away and people don't like you, they will not hire you. They may not buy from you. You're saying here, I don't think it's said as a flex, but as an explanation as to why I don't do X, Y, and Z. I agree with Beulah that I would not use that term. I would not use that term. I will say that my last company with 35 people had 3 Black people, and I didn't feel they were racist, but they assumed that I listened to certain Black people like Lizzo and Beyonce. Everybody's going to assume. Okay, so this is a great thing. Everybody is prejudiced. Prejudice, right? We all prejudge people. If I see a white guy with a beard and a cowboy hat and cowboy boots, and he is chomping on tobacco, I'm going to assume that he listens to Garth Brooks and I don't know, whatever other country musician that's out there. We all do that. Everybody has prejudices against us based on our what we look like, our hair, our name, where we come from, meaning that if you are from Nigeria, I'm going to assume things about you versus if you are born and raised in Alabama, right? So you're basically like, no, I don't, I mean, I like Lizzo, but I listen to more of XYZ person, it's fine. That's where people really get to know you. And they're like, oh, okay. My mother, for example, is a huge Garth Brooks fan. Huge. She told me that she went to the concert. She and her friend went to the Garth Brooks concert, and everybody looked at her like she was bonkers. Like she had 3 heads, because she was I think the only Black person. She said maybe there was one other Black person in the Garth Brooks concert. So, yeah, they're going to assume certain things about you until they know differently. So, and on Earth is saying, and felt away when I didn't join in on the singing and dancing. Yeah, they're just surprised. They're just surprised. That's corporate America for you as well. That's just people being surprised. And I think the more people get to meet different types of Black people, then they realize that, hey, we're not a monolith, right? So, yeah, but you can like, hey, I don't know that song. Let's put on a song I do know, right? So, QB is saying, LOL, I wouldn't tell people I'm an introvert. I think it comes off like saying your star sign as an excuse for unsavory behavior. Yeah, I think that there are just other ways for us um, to handle and compartmentalize being an introvert. So, yeah. Another thing, Black women inside the introvert community, if your coworkers see you talking with men, all teeth showing, are you truly an introvert? I'm just asking. You could still be an introvert with all of your teeth showing. Yes, Beulah, you could. However, they will think that you are a flirt, and they will be concerned. So I will tell you, as somebody who has seen office romances blow up, that if I see you and you are flirting or talking with men all teeth, and you end up having an office relationship with somebody, I would be concerned that your work would suffer. I would be concerned about that. I think the misconception is that introverts don't like talking to people. Not true. If I click with you, I'll talk your ear off. Yeah. Beulah, this is tough. I'm the only woman in a small team and next level as well. I'm always around guys, but I go out of my way to not be flirty. I even kind of ugly myself up, but that's a topic for another day. I wish you wouldn't ugly yourself up. I wish you wouldn't do that. You need to pretty yourself up. They may have a friend. Another day navigating as a shy yet conventionally attractive woman in the male space is threatening. It's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah. I'd love to know more about you, Texas Rose. I think you would be a very interesting person to get to know. So, all right, ladies. Well, that is it. I think the next time I'm on is with Mocha Mommy. She is coming for our annual year in review. We've got some good stories, some juicy stories, some difficult stories to talk about on Friday. So, hope you all will come through for that session. So, all right, ladies, take care. Good night. And I hope I said something today that sparked and inspired you. Take care.